How do I look, dude? I look good?
You look great. You look perfect.
Thank you, dude. Jennifer, how do I look, yo? I look good? I'm glad I have the support, yo. Support somewhere. Yo, Shane's probably gonna walk in here at any moment. He's be like, what the fuck? All right, you ready to just hop back into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, dude. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while, it's been a second, it's been a minute, some might say, but we are back in the studio, and y'all already know who I have here. Look who's to the left of me, the right on your screen, my boy Tireek. Take a couple seconds, minutes, let the people know who you are and where you're from.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Tireek. I'm a musician, filmmaker, just a creative person all around from Brooklyn, New York, representing Brooklyn, New York. And yeah, I'm excited to be back here.
Yeah, dude, happy Halloween. I don't know if you could tell, I'm into the festivities right now, dude.
Happy Halloween. I love it. I love the energy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Hell
dude.
yeah.
Tinky Winky. I really am trying to embrace the spirit. When people tell me what I'm dressed up for Halloween, I tell them originally I'm this character from a group of 4 characters. And originally in 1997, the show premiered for the BBC and ended in 2001.
97.
Yeah, 97. Actually, the year I was born. So, and then it ended in 2001, a short, what is that, like a 4-year run? But everybody knows who the fucking, I was about to say the Wiggles.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who the Teletubbies are.
I don't know why that reminds me. You listen to the Kid Leroy?
Yeah, a little bit.
This video, he randomly brought out the Wiggles at his concert.
Yeah,
I
his
just thought that
concert,
was
dude,
funny.
that's hilarious.
It's like the fucking Wiggles. And it just come
Yo,
out.
and he took care of them too. He had to have. He definitely
absolutely.
paid them bread
what?
at least,
Dude,
But
whenever I have like a really big show, you got to come out and then take you outfit and just dance.
Dude, I would be so down to do that for you, dude. Any show you want, bro, I will come up in this outfit and wild out, dude.
I got fucking Tinky Winky.
And you know what's crazy too? If you wanted me to just if you actually wanted me to sing something too, I could do it too. Like they'd be so surprised. Like imagine like somebody comes out as Tinky Winky, but then they could actually do shit. Like that'd be wild. But
That's a viral moment. I think.
Have you ever seen the Wiggles live?
No, I have not.
Dude, I saw the Wiggles live actually. Well, how old was I? I was probably like 14 maybe. I was in Six Flags, and this is when they had the Wiggles World in Six Flags. Do you remember that?
I do not.
Damn, they had Six Flags. In Six Flags, they used to have like the Wiggles World. I forget what it is now. I think it's like an animal fucking thing right now, whatever. But it used to be a Wiggles World, and I don't know what day I went there, but they were performing. I don't know if they performed every week or whatever, but I went to one of their concerts. They had the venue there and shit, and it was like lit. And the fruit salad, bro, goes so hard. Everybody knows fruit salad goes hard. Fruit salad goes so fucking hard. I don't care what anybody says. But dude, give me a little update. So last time you were here at the podcast, we were in my old college in a study room. This is back when I was like trapping the podcast out the study rooms,
Making it happen.
Dude, what is the update? It's been a little bit under a year since we last kind of like met.
Yeah, it was November of 21, I want to say, since I've been here last, like after I dropped 90s Baby type shit.
Yeah, dude, 90 and dude, I love 90s Baby, bro. I still have that shit pumping up in my playlist and everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. So are you have any new projects now or anything or?
Yeah, so I've been working on a bunch of new music. I got some new shit coming out soon. I can let you hear some.
Word,
yeah, I got some new music dropping in December actually. So I'm excited for that. But in terms of like a whole project, I'm not really focused on that right now. It's more like singles based. Just that's the plan for next year. I'm like dropping all next year.
Word.
Just trying to be consistent with it. But updates, where we at? Yeah, I moved back to New York now.
Word.
No longer in Arizona.
Glad to have you back on the East Coast, bro, for sure.
Thank you. It feels good to be back. Honestly, it was like a little bit of an adjustment coming back to New York. Like being in Arizona where everything's a little bit more like slow pace and just like chill, and then like coming back to the hustle and bustle.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I remember getting on the bus for the first time since moving back. I was like, okay, it's like this is different. I'm definitely gonna have to adjust, and like you know how people are.
Oh, dude, hell yeah, bro. You know what's funny is how like I've actually been I've been talking about like, the hustle and bustle of the city. Like I've been going to the Comedy Cellar a lot more recently, and I've been driving to the city. And, some people tell me, they're like, dude, why you drive to the city, bro? Like take the bus and take the train in and then walk there, like it'll be way easier, it'll be better. And I was thinking, maybe I'm privileged, bro. Maybe I'm privileged. Just like driving to the city, always finding parking. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Dude, the day comes, I think it was like last week, me and my boy, we were trying to take the Holland Tunnel in, right? And they closed the Holland Tunnel, like right before our show was supposed to start. So it's like, fuck. So we had to park in Jersey City and take the path in, right? Bruh. They get the path in, bro. Everybody's wilding in there, bro. It's like, we went to the late show. So our show started at like 11:45. So we're in the path in like, what, 11? And dude, like everybody was wilding down there, bro. It was mad dirty. And I'm not gonna lie. Like, dude, yeah. Like, it is mad dirty, bro. And it's crazy because like I just came back from like, I went to Seattle and I went to Alaska and like I took their metro there. Oh, it was so clean. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Some of the places were like hood where we passed through, but at least it's clean, you know?
Yeah.
Over here it's dirty, people sleeping everywhere. And like, I feel like, I don't know about you, but the homeless problem has gotten kind of crazy. I don't know, since like last time you were there.
I mean, I would like see on social media like they took the benches out of the subway and everything, so homeless people wouldn't sleep on them and everything like that. Like, I'm like, that's super foul to me. Like, these people already don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anywhere to sleep and anything like that. And you're just making it harder for them. Like, how about take that same energy and figure out how to help them?
Word, dude. Yeah, it's crazy too. Like, even like, yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, I think public transportation right now is like wild. Even my boy, bro. Shout out to my boy Miguel. He's actually not here today. He's gonna be like helping me like co-produce everything here now. And he just moved back to Jersey. And now he's living in Green, like a Jersey City, like the Greenville part of Jersey City, and he had to take like the bus over there and the path and everything. Dude, he had to fight a hobo. He punched a hobo in the fucking face, and you know
it probably wasn't funny in the moment. But it's funny
like, no, don't get me wrong. It's hilarious. It's hilarious walking back. What? That's just hilarious. And you know what? I'm never like, some people like, you gotta. I feel like some people don't know, have any street smarts. You know what I mean? I would never put my hands on anybody. Period. Right? Like, I would never, like, unless they like were wilding. But this guy, bro. So like they were standing on the waiting station, I guess, for the train and everything. And the guy, like, you don't look. You don't want to stare either, bro, because like some people are wild.
Oh, especially
tripping,
in
right?
New York, yeah.
Yeah, they're tripping. So he's sitting there, and he's like, I'm not gonna look at this guy. He looks at the guy, they make eye contact. So you already know, right? So immediately, bro, the guy starts walking towards him, and it's like, oh fuck, bro, right? And the guy's like, yo, what's up? You want something? Blah blah blah. And he's like, nah, bro, whatever. And then the guy whips out his dick, right? And starts running towards my boy. So what else is there to do except throw hands? You know what I mean? Like, what else is there to do?
Absolutely. Right? At that point, yeah, there's nothing that you can do but fight. But like, he fought the hobo with his dick out.
Yeah, well, I mean, he just pushed and punched him, whatever the fuck, and then like, the guy's off the fucking perks or whatever the fuck. So
Yo,
I mean,
I don't know what it is about like homeless people and whipping their dick out. I have a friend. His name is Nate.
Is he homeless?
No, he's not.
Did he whip his dick out?
No, but my friend Nate that I met back in Arizona, he used to work at Starbucks. He said they had this homeless guy. They used to come in all the time. They would give him water, things like that, whatever. And one day, the dude just walks in, whips his dick out, and puts it on the counter.
Oh, nah, bro. See, that's what I'm talking about, bro.
Like, I don't know what it is with homeless people.
Right? Like, you want to be nice and everything and help, but sometimes it's like wild. But there is a soft side to like everything too. Like I've been peeping TikToks and people like really posting out. I really want to start doing more stuff for the city of Patterson and stuff. I want to start going to like their food drives and like, like trying to feed and help like the homeless people, because it's like it's a problem that I've seen getting worse. That's the worst part of all this. Like the Comedy Cellar that I go to in New York is in Greenwich, and it's right next to Washington Square Park. Right, dude, you can't even sit in Washington Square Park anymore without it being crazy. Like, dude, like last time I went there, I started realizing, I was like, I have a lot of family who comes in from Peru. And they're like, yo, I'm trying to see the city and everything. And then my family came from Peru recently, like maybe like 3-4 months ago. And they came into the city and they went clubbing. They're a little bit older, like 20, like early 30s, whatever. And they came up to me and they're like, bro, like New York City's so much dirtier and the homelessness is so much crazier. I'm like, bullshit, bro. Y'all not even from here, bro. Like, y'all don't even know shit. But then I was sitting in Washington Square Park the other day, and I've been going there like consistently and just sitting there, dude. And I've never had, number one, so many people just be brolic against me. Like straight up, like you got the homeless people who are like, like they're quiet and they just ask for money. You have the other people who are just like, they'll hustle you, right? And dude, I was just sitting in Washington Square Park for less than an hour, dude. I had like 4 people come up to me and try to hustle me. And I was like, all right, y'all being OD. And there was hella people there, dude. There was trash all over the floor, McDonald's, foods, this shit, that shit, bro. People sleeping everywhere. And I'm like, damn, like, if I'm asking people come to like, East Coast, you know, I'm telling them, yo, this shit's lit. Like, this shit's beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, this is the representation that we're given, you know. It's like, damn, you know. So it gets a little bit deep, you know. It gets a little bit deep on that side. But besides that, you know, like, it has me conflicted too, because it's like, you know, you're so nice to the guy at, you know, Starbucks and stuff like that, and he whips his dick on the counter. I'm just like, fuck, like, I don't know what to do at that point. You know what I mean? Do I get you help or do I jerk you off? I don't know. What do you want? What will help you? You know?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel you on that. And that's definitely one thing I learned, not to, you know, lump everybody in the same group. You know, generalize a whole group of people. You know, you got your good homeless people, you got your bad homeless people, but
yeah, dude, for sure.
you know, but nobody deserves to be, you know, and you know, deserves to be homeless. And the way I try to think, back when I was in Arizona, there's this professor that I was interning with as like a video editor or whatever. His name is Doctor. I get it right, because he has his PhD. Neil Lester, and he was like, you know, homelessness or like, you know, being struggling or being broke, it's all temporary. You know, it's just your current situation, but it doesn't have to be your permanent situation. So, you know, reason I say that is just like, I just respect you, one, to use your platform to help, you know, these people out of their current situation. You know, if everybody just, you know, reached out a hand and just helped one another, it wouldn't be an issue, or it wouldn't be as much of an issue, you know?
Word.
So much respect for that.
Oh, dude, no, for sure, bro. And I'm always trying to, like, you know, besides like trying to make ends meet, bro, I'm always trying to do like philanthropic shit with the podcast and stuff. Like this year, we actually have 2 goals that we're trying to reach by the end. Well, it's already committed and stuff, but so we're donating to the I forget the first podcast I recorded this year. So in the first podcast, I do it every year. I try to make a tradition now, because we just started this year with it. Make $100 donation to the first person who has the first podcast. They get to choose a charity.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this year it was Pat Damiano and Sam Cummings. They were the first people I did, and I did a podcast out in San Francisco with them. Pat's cousin has I forget this. I don't know if it's a disease, but his cousin's in a wheelchair and stuff. So we're donating $100 to that charity, and then $100 more to a mental health charity that I did with Naya Badass last time when we did that. So, and then we're trying to do $100 more. So maybe we'll do a $100 donation too to like some homeless shelter or something like that. We'll find it. You figure out which foundation you want to do, and we'll commit $100.
Oh yeah,
all right, dope.
I'm down for that.
We'll do that.
Absolutely.
That. So besides the homelessness and craziness that goes on there, because I could go on with a million homelessness stories, bro. Like it gets wild. I mean, if you're not from the city, dude, or you're not from like, you know, the city parts of like Jersey, like that's case in point. Like I drive everywhere. Besides like the express bus to NJ Transit, I mean, like you can't even go to Port Authority. Like you can't, like Port Authority's wilding too now too, bro. You can't even.
Everybody's wilding.
Yeah,
man.
that's just
It's a
crazy.
city.
But besides all the craziness there, what else have you seen that's different? Like, you know, because East Coast, I mean, like where you were in Arizona, I mean, it's not necessarily like East Coast, but it's like the culture, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what's the biggest cultural differences you've seen from there to here as well?
Just like in general, well, some of the biggest differences that I've noticed, just like going back to like my old neighborhood and everything where I used to live, is just like the kind of people that are in these neighborhoods are different. You know, not saying that's a bad thing, but it's not necessarily a good thing. Like the people that I grew up with, the families that I grew up around and everything, everybody's like leaving New York because it's like they're kind of being pushed out. So like, you know, all the little mom and pop stores and restaurants that used to be there, like the Chinese spots, Jamaican spots, things like that. There's like doggy daycares and, you know, places like that now. You got, you know, where I used to grow up in where I grew up in Bed-Stuy, used to be not like a super dangerous area, but like, you know, shit used to pop up. Now you just got like white people just jogging,
More
walking their
gentrified,
dogs
eh?
and everything like that. Like it's you know, it's cool that they're making like all these, you know, improvements and everything to the neighborhoods, and you know, it's bringing the value up and everything, but it just kind of sucks because it's not for us. You know?
Yeah, I got you. I
So,
got
like,
you.
you know, it's just completely different in that way, and that was definitely, you know, I've seen it happen over the years, like when I would visit and everything, but like looking at it now, it's just like completely different.
Seeing
you
people
know?
move in too is like wild too, right?
Like we were, me and my girlfriend, we were picking my brother up in Brooklyn yesterday. It was just like, I don't know. It's gonna sound bad no matter what.
Nah,
But
dude,
it's just like
speak your truth, bro. Speak
It's like
your truth.
this white lady just walking around, headphones in both ears, just walking down the street late at night like it's nothing. I'm just like, yo, years ago that would never be a thing. Like she probably wouldn't even dare to walk through the neighborhood.
Dude, I feel
you
that.
know?
I definitely feel that.
It's just like wild to me. Like so that's why I say it's like both good and bad, you know?
Yeah, no, it's definitely strange. I don't even live. I grew up such a short time in like Patterson, but I moved to Little Falls, right? And Little Falls is not a bad place. It's actually pretty nice. It's very, very nice town and whatever. But it was strange because in my block where I'm living now, like they're building like all these like giant like apartments and shit. And the property values of all the houses by my house are going crazy up. So I was like, oh, what the fuck? And then the house next to me like sold for like you're talking about like a $200,000 house, right? Selling for like $500,000 now, right? So it's insane. It's insane, right?
Yeah, those brownstones.
Yeah,
yo, they sell for millions. I did not know that they were like going for that much.
It's wild, crazy. Yeah. And now like since COVID, like everybody was moving out of the city, and then it's brought weird monetary like opportunities to different sides of everything, right? But then I had this you familiar with like Dembo and stuff, like Dominicans and like their music, right? So I had these Dominicans, they moved next to my house, right? And I had no problem with that, but they paid a hella for the house. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry if y'all watching this, bro. I'm not trying to at you or anything, but they so they bought the house and everything, and they paid like a huge price for like, I'm not gonna lie, it's not crazy of a house. Like it needed a lot of renovations, right? And so they moved in and they asked me, one of the first things they asked me, they're like, can you give me the number of the person who like, does your lawn and stuff? And I was like, I do my lawn. And then she's like, and I was like, right? Like, am I right? Am I tripping? And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why are you laughing? And then she's like, oh, you're serious? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I do it like once a week. And then she's like, oh. And I was like, all right. I was like, where the fuck does this conversation go, bro? I'm sorry. Like, I'm not Mexican, but fuck, like, I'm Latino and shit. Like, yeah, I do my own shit. Like, well, she's like, no, she's like, it just looks so nice. I'm like, thanks. Like, thank you.
Appreciate it. Good looks.
And it was like weird, the conversation I had with her and stuff. And there was a tree in that backyard we've been trying to get like cut down for years. And the last neighbor who lived there, he didn't have a lot of money and it cost like bread. It took us, I think it cost like 10 to 20 grand to like cut like a big tree down, right? Bro, they did it instantly. Literally, like the week we asked, they got the person there and they cut it down that week.
Oh wow!
And I was like, oh damn! And that was the only reason I was like, okay, maybe justified money. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's not that bad. It's not
That's
that
what I say.
bad.
You gotta take the good with the bad.
Yeah, you gotta take the good with the bad for sure.
What was I gonna say? It just reminds me of something else I was talking about the other day. What I find is so funny is how many people are like so obsessed with like moving to or living in New York now. I feel like it's like an aesthetic now for people. Like I always see on Twitter, people pay thousands of dollars, like $1,000, give or take, to live in a box in New York. And I just find that crazy. Like that guy on TikTok that goes around, he asks people, he's like, oh, how much you pay for rent? They're like, oh, 1,000, 1,500, whatever. And it's literally like a little cube.
Yeah.
You barely got space. Like if you lay down on the floor and just like sat like this, your head and your feet would like touch both walls. I'm just like, that is insane. Like,
or living with hella roommates and stuff.
Yeah, like I don't like. Okay, I understand. Like if you're creative and everything like that.
Dude,
like,
no,
why
there's no hate, dude. Live your truth, live your life, pay what you want, bro. But I don't know if it's for me.
It's not. It's not for me. I mean, if you're comfortable, like you say, like do your thing. But like I can't live in like a little space like that.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, especially if you're used to like even like having your own room. You know what I mean? Like it's tough. Yeah, I'm even having that problems in my house right now, dude. I'm actually about ready to move out and like maybe by next year, hopefully. That's the goal. But like it's tough, like even when you're sharing a space with people or even if you live in a tiny space, like in my house, bro, it feels like an apartment. Like I have a house, but my sister's there, her husband's there, my new niece is there, now my dad's there.
Oh, it's a full house.
Yeah, it's a full house. And it's not a small house. I mean, it's a decent sized house. You would think there's enough room and stuff, but like I can't leave shit in the living room. I can't leave shit like like it's just It's all, man. You know how family is, bro.
Yeah.
Family gets difficult sometimes. But dude, tell me a little bit more about like how it was. Like, you know, what was the ending of your time out in Arizona like? Like, what was like, you know, like were you doing like the last couple of shows? Like, how did it go? Like, how, like when we were talking last, we were talking the end of the '90s Baby stuff, right? So how did the release come out? Did '90s Baby like come out? Like, I'm asking a lot of questions here. Let me wrap up. Let me wrap up a little bit. Tell me how '90s Baby, like the release and everything and all the shows came out after that, how the expectations were and how, like, you know, everything came out in reality. How about we go there?
Yeah. I don't know where to start. I think putting out Crooklyn and then putting out '90s Baby, you know, 2 projects in the same year, just like it got me a lot of respect. You know, like for people, they're like, oh, like these are 2 like really solid, really good projects.
Yeah, dude.
So, you know, I would get people coming up to me in the community, just like, yo, this is dope. Like, I respect what you're doing. Like, keep it up, this, that, and the other. You know, and I'm not gonna lie, I started feeling myself a little bit, but it was kind of like that. Cause like honestly, after '90s Baby came out and I finished the project, I kind of like hit a little slump where like I couldn't write anything, like I wasn't inspired or anything. I'm just like, all right, the project's out. Like now I'm just kind of like chilling.
Yeah.
So like, but when I started going back out into the community, going to shows, interacting with people, like doing little parties and everything, and like people telling me like, the effect, like people would be like, oh yo, like. People would listen to the song, like the actual song '90s Baby about my mom. They're like, yo, that was super dope because like I'm really close with my mom and this, that, and the other. Or, like another song, you know, would resonate with people, and like just seeing the effect that it had on people, like it made me feel good, and it kind of like reignited my creative juices or whatever. So like I just started writing again, and like I got like hundreds of songs in the vault.
Word.
You know, so,
Yeah.
and it feels good to like have like those songs just like locked in. I don't know when they're gonna come out. Some might not ever come out, but it felt good to like be creative again and like be working on something again. And then in terms of the shows, like honestly, the shows kind of slowed down, and that's for like multiple reasons. So and I noticed this like even in New York too. People do not fuck with hip hop, which is super weird. Like you wouldn't expect that because like hip hop is one of the most popular genres. Everybody listens to it, you know, whatever. Some of the biggest artists in the world are hip hop artists. But you go to these venues and they're not fucking with it at all. I was like reaching out to multiple venues trying to like book shows. Like I'm like, yo, this is my music. I usually like I bring a decent crowd per show. Like in Arizona, each show at least had like 75 people plus. So like I could bring a decent sized crowd. I want to do this, and that. Like here's where I did my previous shows, and just like we don't do hip hop music. Why don't you do hip hop music? We don't like the crowd that they bring in. What is that? What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I'm taking it as you don't like black people. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
And like on one hand, I kind of understand it. Like there's some like negative stereotypes that comes along with hip hop. Like people think about violence and like gangs and this, that, and the other. But like it's not always about like I view hip hop as like, you know, in a positive light. It's a way for you to express yourself. You know, hip hop was born, you know, as a way for people to just like express themselves, whether it's like, you know, doing music, dance, like fashion, like all of that is hip hop, you know? So it was just kind of like, I don't know, it did mess with my head a little bit. So I remember I made a tweet sometime last year explaining the situation, like, yo, it's so hard to book shows in Arizona because people don't like hip hop crowds. And they got like so much engagement, people liking it, retweeting it, and like other like hip hop artists saying like, this is a fact, this is why I don't do shows, this, that, and the other. People DMing me in private, it's like, yo, was it these venues? I was like, yeah, it was those venues. Like they are actually discriminating against hip hop. And I just don't understand it. Like one, I would be making you money. Like I'm selling tickets, this, that, and the other. Like, why close yourself off to a whole market? You know? And like I just never understood it. And then I moved one of the reasons I moved back to New York, because I'm like, it's New York. Hip hop was birthed in New York. Feel like it would be easier. It's the same thing here. Like a lot of venues
Strange.
exactly. A lot of venues do not like booking hip hop shows for the same reasons. Oh, we don't like the crowd that they bring in, or like the negative things that come along that are viewed with hip hop, like the gang culture and everything. I'm like, that's not all hip hop. Like, yeah, you got your drill music, your trap music, and everything, which is fucking fire, But I kind of understand that, but it's just, I don't know. It like really messed my head up for a little bit, but it also kind of like motivated me in a way, because now I'm in this space where like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna just do my own thing, like create my own opportunities. And that's kind of how I always been. I think I mentioned that in the last podcast. Like, if you're gonna close this door for me, I'm gonna open my own door, kick it down.
Word.
So that kind of got me, starting thinking like, can't talk right now. Started thinking about like, oh, I'm gonna get my own venue one day. Like, I don't know what that's gonna look like, but that's definitely in the works.
That's definitely like big goals to set up too, and it's tough. I do get it. I do get it, and it's weird too, because funny enough, I actually I'm about to go on a little bit of a tangent, but the hip hop community, the rap community, like even the performance community in general, in Jersey specifically, because I've been crazy about Jersey since the beginning, right? Is always been struggling, always been hard to find venues to go do something if it wasn't rock.
That's what I'm saying. And
Yeah.
rock is dope. Don't get me. I
don't get
love
me
me
wrong.
some fucking rock music, but like every venue they only like do rock.
Yeah.
It's like fucking crazy, bro.
It's hard to have somebody who, because I feel like you need a team and people who organize together to set a certain vibe to some of these shows too, because like it's like sometimes hip hop shows can get like a little bit grungy, and so you get a grungy venue. You know what I mean? You get like,
Bro, I get mosh pits at all my shows.
Mosh pits, right? But not everybody like fucks with all that stuff, and sometimes some shows need heightened security, and I think for certain venues it's a liability for them. And so this is just stuff that's coming to my mind, especially because I'm just like, all right, if we're gonna do a big hip hop shows in Jersey, right? Especially like, it's just like, how are we gonna do it? And funny enough,
Jersey, sorry, cut you off. Jersey has some fire hip hop artists.
Yeah, dude,
sure.
Dude, hell yeah, bro. And you know what's crazy? There's actually a show this Sunday that if you can come through, you should definitely come through, because we're expecting like 250 plus.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. And it's actually gonna be in Fairfield, Jersey. It's gonna be at the Claremont Distillery. I just did a collab with Mad Minds. That's one of their merch hats over there on the little head mannequin and stuff. But Mad Minds, bro, has been killing it, dude. Like, I've been to so many whack hip hop shows, and it's like, it's not the artists who are whack, you know what I mean? Sometimes, you know what I mean? Whatever, but like it's usually like the crowd, you know what I mean? You got like 30, 40, you know what I mean? I would call like 60 people on a show like crazy. Like for me, I'd be like, oh my god, there's 60 people at this venue, bro. That's wild. And it's hard because you get like new hip hop acts that come out, they're testing new music. Some of it might be fire, some might be not. But like Mad Minds was the first place, and the guy who runs, his name's Turkish Royale. It was the first time I went, and I was like, I saw this whole community built, bro. And it was insane, dude. And everybody's there, and it's like, it's all about family. It's all about people just doing their thing. And it's I think it's the biggest hip hop venue performance thing, like company in Jersey right now. The last show we did was actually in Morristown, New Jersey, and we had 350 plus people there.
Oh hell yeah.
And that shit was crazy, dude. I still have to release the full podcast video for that. Sorry to everybody who's been waiting like a year for it. But yeah, dude, I have to release a whole footage of everybody, but I set up this same setup there. And I'm actually gonna be doing the same setup out there in the distillery on Sunday too.
Oh hell yeah!
So yeah, dude, but it's insane. Like, and their stuff, like they how they do it. They do like the first 2 hours of it, like it's an open mic, so anybody could come perform as long as they come early enough and sign up. And then they have headliners. So these are people who have signed up for the open mics, and then after, I guess, I don't know if they prove themselves. You can't really see my fingers here, but if they after they sign up and they see that you could sell tickets and like perform, and you have people like in the crowd who are vibing with you, they'll put you as a headliner, and then after that, boom, you're set. And and it's cool, dude. And there's a lot of people who I've met through there as well. Like, you know, like obviously there's like guys like AK40 Devin. He's actually from New York, actually, but he's from I forget like what part. It's not like the inner, like on the inside of like, you know, Manhattan Island part. It's like the outside. I forget what it's called, like north on the west. the left side, whatever, somewhere over there, right? I forget. Sorry, AK. But yeah, you have him. Yeah, Samad Savage. Samad, I don't know if you know Samad Savage.
Yeah, I know
Samad's lit, bro. I've had him on the podcast before too, and then we're actually trying to work on some stuff now too. Not music wise, but like I'm gonna be recording him, and maybe like it's like gonna be like I don't know, maybe like a documentary pod. I don't know. We talked about it. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, dude, there's like crazy stuff, but it's hard, and you know it's weird hearing that from you in New York, dude, because I know New York. Like I don't know anything that's going over there, bro. I'm focused on here in Jersey and stuff, but like hearing that stuff is kind of like disheartening. You know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, it definitely was. You know, I was super confused because, like I said, it's New York. You would think it would be easier, but yeah, I'm just in the headspace now where I'm just gonna do my own thing. Like, I'll find a place on Pure Space, you know, rock that. I'll do a show there. But actually, I just signed with a booking agency, so I'm really excited about that.
Dope, dude. Congrats.
Thank you. Really excited about that. I think another thing that I'm focused on is just like, you know, growing the team, expanding the team. So like signing with the booking agency. I have a publicist now. So
that's dope.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. Really
so how does all that work out?
In what way?
So like for the booking agency, like how did you get started with the booking agency? How do you find a publicist? Like
honestly, so with the booking agency, I got invited. Okay, so it's so random. So one of my friends, best friends, hit him up, was like, yo, is Tireek available October or something to do a show? So then my friend hit me up. He's like, yeah, my friend who lives in New Paltz. Are you familiar with New Paltz?
I'm not.
I wasn't either. But he's like, yo, there's a show going on. Do you want to like perform? I was like, hell yeah, I'm down. Like any opportunity, like I'll take it. It's like more towards upstate. So I accepted the show, and then the show came up. I went out to New Paltz, and super sick venues, like one of those like underground locations called Radio Shack. Shout out Radio Shack. It's super dope. It's like literally like a house, and the whole thing is in their basement, but they have a huge ass basement. You can fit like 100 people in there. It's fucking crazy. So I do the show, like, and I really love the shows where nobody knows who I am at all and nobody knows what to expect, because I love seeing people's like genuine reactions to like hearing my music and everything for the first time. And like I try to make all my shows like super fun. And like I try to get the crowd engaged, like get them to talk, make jokes and everything. I bring the energy, whatever. I even like explain the meanings behind some of my songs, just like make it a whole little experience. So I just brought the same energy that I always did, and like people were dancing, vibing. I even got a little mosh going. It's funny, like, but I just think that's super fucking fire to get a mosh pit going when nobody even knows who you are. But like by the end of the show, you've like built enough like rapport, I guess, with the crowd or whatever, to the point where like they start moshing. But anyways, I do my set. It's like 30 minutes, and then afterwards, it's like 10 people that live in that house that run the underground venue. So one of the ladies there, her name is Noelle. Shout out Noelle. She was like, "Yo, like your music's fire. Like, do you have a publicist?" I was like, "No, I do not have a publicist." He's like, "Do you need one?" I was like, "Let's talk about it." So she actually started her own company called Doors at 7. And they do like PR, they do like booking shows, tour management, this, that, and the other. She used to work with RCA Records and everything.
Dope.
Yeah, so she still has like a bunch of connections and everything like that. So just off the strength of the show and my performance alone, and just, you know, just getting to like talk to each other and everything, we decided to work together. So 2023. Big things, expecting big things.
Praying for it, bro, for sure.
Really
I mean,
excited.
you never know where you're gonna be a year from now, dude. And I definitely think I was gonna be here. If you told us our next podcast was gonna be like this, bro.
Dude, yo, much respect to this man, because this is great. Like, I love it, bro. I'm so proud of you.
Dude, thank you, dude. Thank you, dude. It's great to have you back too, man. It's crazy because you know, it's funny. I'm waiting for the November 11th show that I'll be at in Brooklyn.
Dude, I'm so excited. That's going to be so much fun. I'm happy that you'll be able to come.
Go ahead. Tell the people about it, bro.
Yo, okay. So it's actually crazy. I'm surprised they got back to me, because like it's been hard to book shows. But this one I actually booked myself. Heart Bar, Brooklyn, New York, November 11th. It's going down. Got some super dope acts. We got Uzi, dude that I know from high school, actually. He's like pretty popular in Staten Island. He produces, makes music, and everything like that. And then we got Drew, who's my godfather actually.
Sweet,
And
sweet.
he's actually the reason that I really started rapping or like
Word.
taking rap seriously. Like he took me to my first studio session and everything. So I was like, yo, my first like really like big show in New York at an actual venue, gotta have him on there. So
Of course.
you know, it's super cool. It's pretty much like a family affair. And I'm excited. I've been grinding, like trying to like tell as many people about it. Yo, coming back in New York and like trying to get into like the scene and everything made me realize how not tapped in I was when I lived here originally. Like when I was growing up here, like of course, like it's New York, you know, like the music community is crazy, but like I just was not tapped in at all. So
Yeah,
like
dude.
I've been like hearing about like the different events going on. Discord has been major, like all the like different like New York hip hop discords and everything.
Didn't know about that.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of music discourse that's sick. So like I've been like posting about the show and like the little New York City channels in the music discords, and like I've actually had people in the Discord be like, yo, I might pop out to this, like I'm in Brooklyn. So like slowly but surely I've been building like a little community of my own, which is like really really cool. Like I just like, you know, I rarely give myself like a pat on the back, but I just think, you know, for us to have moved back to New York, what, late August, and then to already have a headlining show at a venue in November, and then like getting the booking agency, the publishing and everything like that. Like if you basically, the reason I'm saying is like, and you know this because like I see you're a hustler, you're a grinder. If you want something, you're gonna go out and get it. You're gonna figure out the way to do it. So like, bro, I guess this is just a message to like anybody who's watching it. Like, bro, just fucking do that shit. Just fucking grind, put the work in, because you know nothing's gonna happen if you don't, you know, take the first step and put in the effort. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was nervous as hell to move back to New York because everything that I've done musically, all the connections that I've made, like the fan base that I've built, has all been in Arizona. Like I didn't start taking music seriously until I moved to Arizona, you know? So I kind of felt like I would be starting over, you know, completely in a way when I came back to New York, because like, yeah, I have my friends and my family, but I don't have a real fan base out here yet, whatever. But you just gotta take a leap of faith and just do it, you know. And so far, everything's working out, you know. So, and I'm really happy about that. And just, you know, and obviously, like, feel it out, you know. Don't say yes to everything, but be open to different opportunities. Like, if I would have never said yes to doing the show in New Paltz, you know, I never would have met Noel and never would be in this situation to where like we're talking about doing a tour next year, talking about opening for some pretty big artists when they come to New York next year and everything, and just figuring out rollouts for like my upcoming music and everything. And it just feels good to know that like you have people that like believe in you, that want to see you grow, and just like, you know, just want to help you get to where you want to be at, you know. Like for the most part of my music career, like everything I've done myself. Like I'm talking up till 3-4 a.m. sending emails, or like, you know, strategizing, coming up with like marketing plans and everything like that. But it feels good to be able to like delegate different tasks and like have a team that's working with you to reach that goal. Like it's so relieving, you know, to be in a situation now where I don't have to do everything by myself. And you know, I love it.
Yeah, dude, that's kind of like where I am. Like, first of all, congrats on all of that, man. For sure. It's like it's tough. That. It's tough to get there, man. And that's how I'm feeling right now too, man. I'm feeling like that's why my boy Miguel, like he's like somebody I'm gonna have like, you know, start delegating stuff to as well, because doing all this stuff by yourself is crazy.
It's
dude.
tough. It's not impossible.
It's not impossible,
but it is tough.
It is tough as shit. And to tapping in with everybody, bro, it's like, oh my god, like. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I've been blessed with the podcast, especially like this past run for the past 6 months, dude. Like I remember back when I was getting you on the pod, right? Like it was a blessing, because I remember like first talking to like Sam and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, I have these artists," and I was like, "I bet." So then, you know, she got me connected with you, Lonely, and you know, that was dope. And I was like, okay. And it was good because like at that point, especially where I was, especially when I was still at Willie P, like doing podcasts there, I was still begging people to come through, bro. and it was and it was to the point where I was tricking people to come through too.
Really?
Like I would show them like the videos of where I was at, right? And I'd be like, look, I record and have this nice room and everything, and it's not mine. And like, you know, they're like, oh, like send me the address. I'm like, all right, so what you're gonna do? You're gonna show up to this university, right? And then after you show up to the university, I'm gonna give you a map and tell you where to walk. And it'd be tough sometimes because I'd be sitting there in the room, and I have like at that time, bro, like my equipment is crazy now, but like even back then when I was just starting out, like it was like about a G and a half of equipment, right? And it's like if I leave that in the room in a college, right?
Yeah.
And like I now have to walk to this place to walk these people here. It's tough. I can't leave the room.
Yo,
So-
people in college be stealing.
yeah, dude.
They be stealing for real. It's
It
crazy.
gets me so mad, bro. Like I leave my charger in a room for 1 second and it's fucking gone, bro. And chargers that adds up, bro. It's like $25, $30, $40 for a fucking charger, dude. It's wild.
And people steal the littlest shit too. It's
Right.
like forget. I remember my freshman year. We had like a community area, whatever, and there was a fridge in there, and there was like some stuff that I couldn't fit in my mini fridge in my room. So I like put it in a bag. I put my name on it, whatever. It's like little things like White Castle's burgers, little pizzas, and Hot Pockets and stuff. And I put it in the community freezer. That shit was gone within a day.
Bruh.
And I messaged our floor group chat. I'm like, yo, who took my shit?
yeah.
Nobody said anything. Like, yo, I'm like, this is foul. Never again.
Yeah.
I remember one time in the laundry room, yo, somebody left a pair of Yeezys in the laundry room. Now, the way that I was brought up, I want to make it known, I didn't touch them. I didn't steal them, but I'm like, that's crazy. I'm going to just walk away before anything happens.
Yeah, dude.
Came back, they were gone. Now, I don't know if the person that like owned them took them or like somebody swiped them, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if
That's
somebody just
OD.
swiped
Like,
them.
how you gonna leave Yeezys out there like
I
that?
know,
bro?
right?
Craziness.
That's
bro.
crazy, but nah, it just when you said that, it just reminded me, like, yeah, you gotta protect your stuff. You know, keep a good eye on it. But like going back to what you were saying about like you had to trick people to get people on the podcast.
Yeah, dude,
like,
I had to trick some people, like, you know, to come through and stuff. And at that point, like this year, it's been blessed because now I have like, bro, I probably
see
have
that
like
wall,
yeah,
huh?
dude, I have like at least like, and even the people not on that wall, dude, I have like 40, 50 people like asking to come on the pod. And like if you think about it, on a year, if I'm just doing one pod a week, you know, it's like fuck, like, you know, you already fill up all those slots right there, you know. I don't know how many weeks are in the year, but like
52.
yeah, it's wild. So it's like, you know, and it's hard to be like, okay, like who the biggest problem I've been dealing with right now is like, who do I get on the podcast? Do I choose who I want, or do I kind of raffle it because I want to be fair? I've never run into this situation before, and I felt really bad,
But it's a good situation to be
it
in.
is.
Bro.
It is a definitely good situation to be in because now at the point too, like I also like don't put up with people's shit. Like, dude, I've said this on the podcast before, but like, you know, I'm trying to tap in with as many people as I can, right? And it's tough. And this is before I go to the next point. This is something I really want to be like important about. I do not care about your status. As an Instagram influencer, I don't care your status as a musician. Like, I will deadass have somebody who like nobody knows about here sitting with if they give me a good conversation, rather than the person who has like 1 mil followers that will get me like what 10,000 followers in a day, 10,000 people who don't even know me, you know, since the beginning. You know, it's like I don't know how valuable that is to me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I don't even fuck with social media like that. It's my job, but I don't fuck with social media. I really don't. Sorry, my antenna's itchy. Sorry, just stupid joke, bro. But yeah, dude, like, and it's wild, and you know, tapping in with all these like smaller artists and stuff like that. You get some artists who are hungry, and I remember that hunger. I remember, and sometimes I try to help some of these artists, and some people it just doesn't connect with them because you can remember like when you first started out and everything, and you being that hungry artist and being like, "Yo, give me a chance, like I'll change the world," and it's like, relax. Like, you will definitely get whatever you want if you put in the work, but like I'm not going to be your saving grace. Being on this podcast, no matter what you do, if you're an artist trying to do any of this stuff, no one person will be your saving grace. If you're hoping for that one thing to blow you up and you to be a crazy successful artist and everything just come to you, dude, odds of that happening is like 1,000,000 to 1, dude. It doesn't happen like that.
Honestly, to add to that, like this is a lesson that I learned myself. Like, don't get caught up in the numbers for real. Like the numbers really don't mean it. Like no playlist is gonna change your life. Like, first of all, you shouldn't even have to like beg for somebody to be on their playlist. Like, if you put in the work, just make the quality stuff and just like, you know, make those genuine connections. Like, it's gonna come. You know, just don't get caught up in all the statistics and everything like that, and just like trying to flex those because like you said, like people aren't gonna care. It's like people care more about like who are you as a person, like what do you stand for, things like that. So just be yourself and like present yourself. You know, um, and I forgot what else I was gonna say. But nah, that's definitely not a bad situation to be in at all. Where you like, you're just trying to figure out, okay, like how should I go about this? Like that's how you know that you're successfully like building your platform. Like you got people wanting to be on. Like much respect for that.
Thanks, dude. Thanks. I appreciate it, man. And it's like I said, even Jersey too. Like, dude, the person who schooled me, and I say this on a lot of podcasts, dude. I mention it a lot. Samad Savage schooled the fuck out of me when I was on the podcast. Hell yeah, bro. When he was on, like because at that point, like on every podcast before him, I was spewing out every single podcast. I was like, hip hop's dead in Jersey. There's no artists. There's no this and that. And I knew a couple artists from Jersey. Obviously, like I was trying to tap in, but dude, he started dropping hella names of people who are Jersey born and raised. And I know you rep New York and stuff too, but like for me, like I'm diehard Jersey. I love New York. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm diehard Jersey, so I'm trying to grow the stuff here. And when he started dropping all these names, I was like, these are people I've never tapped into before. These people I've never heard of. And then as you keep going and going and going, you realize the community's there. And it's just like there's no way to get into it or know what's going on unless you just full like throw yourself in there,
deep
dude.
dive.
Yeah, there's no way, because like there's so much things that I've learned, and there's this whole community that exists, and I had no idea about it. And it's wild because when I started doing like the pod like recordings and trying to do this since like last year, the beginning of like last year, dude, like I've learned so much. I've talked to so many people. I've like learned about like Samad's been screaming on the top of his lungs on social media about Jersey since day one.
Yeah,
I've never heard him, right? Like, and learning about him the first time, I was like, who the fuck are you? And then learning what he does now is just like wild. And it makes me question a lot. It's like, why? I think, I don't know if I want to say this on the pod. I think hip hop and rap is coming to an end. Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way. And what I mean is, what I'm looking at right now is just like every rap right now is pop. Hip hop is pop because it's the most popular genre in the industry right now. Every genre, everything like has a certain like movement back into pop, right? Like for example, like hip hop was still like fire like during the Black Eyed Peas, but Black Eyed Peas when they were like at their peak, that was pop, you know? So I think hip hop is gonna be moving again into a section where it's like not pop anymore. Still very popular, still within our culture and everything that's going on in music. But I think another side of music, which I feel like is like this indie movement that's going on right now with like, with especially like throwback music and the music that exists through throwback music, like the Silk Sonic record that just came out, right? That was crazy. And everybody loves hearing that. And and nobody's gonna say like, yo, turn that off. I don't fuck with that type of music when it comes out, because it's like old 70s, 80s vibes, but also with this like new like flair to it, right? I think that music and then this other like indie, almost funk, hip hop, psychedelic music is gonna be like more of the pop in the future. Yeah. Because like, dude, I turned on, I was on Spotify's like most necessary playlist, which is very popular for people who are in the hip hop, and I was like listening to it and I was like, these all sound the same, dude. Like, and it's wild. And it's like, where is like this push, this energy that was there before? And like, even you look at like the people who come in and out, the baby, right? Yeah. When the baby was out and he was peaking, I was fire. I liked it.
Yeah,
I loved it, bro.
Absolutely.
I listen to it now and I'm just like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not gonna put him and Tekashi in the same, like area, but like, Tekashi was really popular at one point, completely fell off. Yeah. The baby completely fell off. And you have other artists too that like I've just completely fall off. And then the people who we love most, they're still the same. They're still cranking shit out. You talk about Kendrick, even Kendrick's newest record, you know what I mean?
Love that.
I loved it too, but it didn't get the love it wanted because it wasn't that hip hop that's like, oh my God, I'm in your face, we're getting lit and everything, you know. J. Cole's most recent stuff, it doesn't get like crazy love either, but like but the fans are still there and people are still giving love. They still make a living off of like what they do, obviously. Yeah, right?
The diehards, like the people that truly appreciate the art and the culture, they fuck with it. Yeah.
So how do you feel about it? Do you think, because like I don't know, it's always harder and harder when I get on these podcasts and I talk to artists and they're just like, what should I do? Like you talk to all these different people, what are they doing? And I'm always lost because I'm just like, I don't know if going into music right now is like, if you're just gonna be an artist is tough. You know what I mean? If you're just gonna be an artist and rely on your artistry, it's like fuck. And to get that backing to get that style, to get that, I don't know, I don't want to use the word swag, but to get that swag, you know what I mean? When you go out to a show and get people show up, I find it harder and harder. And like I said, Mad Minds is the only company right now in Jersey who I know who's doing it. Who's doing it and getting people to show up and like go like, crazy.
I agree with you that hip hop and rap is changing, you know, and honestly, I think it happens like every few years or so. There's always like a, you know, new style or like little renaissance, I guess you would say. So I do agree that it's shifting in a different direction. Like music in general, like, didn't we talk about this last? Like it's genre less now, you know. You can't put everybody into one box really, you know, these days. But I think it's a great thing, you know. Everybody's doing their own thing. Like especially me, like I stopped, you know, when I first started making music and everything, I was trying to sound like different people, but now I'm just like trying to sound like me. And I think I just got to a point where like I figured out what my sound is or the sound that I like for myself. And like now I'm heading in that direction. Like you'll hear in this music that I'm going to release, you know, moving forward, like I sound more like me, like I sound comfortable, like I'm in my own like lane, in my own pocket, and it's a great feeling to have, you know, instead of trying to be like all these different people. But in all honesty, going back to like the shows and everything like that, like I've been real old school with the promotion of this show. Like I've been like hitting the streets, putting up flyers. Like I plan to go hand out some, you know.
Yeah, and I think that's what's missing too. You know what I mean? Like that like, heart, the type of stuff, just like handing out shit. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like honestly, marketing is everything. You know, you gotta have one. You gotta have like the ambition and the hustle and everything. But marketing is everything, and that's also a good and bad thing because kind of like you're saying, everybody sounds the same. A lot of music is kind of like, you know, generic and basic nowadays. But like if you have good marketing, it's gonna go crazy. Like you could have basic ass, generic ass music that blows up because of good marketing, and then you can have like amazing, like out of this world, super unique music that like barely sees the light of day just because there's no good marketing behind it. And I think that's the problem with like just the music industry as a whole. Well, more specifically like major labels, because major labels, it just seems like they try and follow a formula. They just try to stick with what's popular. That's why so many popular artists or so much music that you hear on the radio all sounds the same. Like the production, they all have like a similar bounce or feel and everything. The artists vocally all sound like it just all seems copy paste. Like a lot of the music that I listen to are like bump constantly are like maybe more underground or like lesser known artists, because that shit is like fire. You get like more variety and everything like that. It's super diverse. You put on the radio, it's just like everything just like blends together, you know. And that's another thing that I hope to do, like, you know, one day, maybe like when all the music is said and done for me, like I just want to bring it back to like the art, you know.
Word.
No gimmicks, no like super crazy trends or anything, just like bring it back to the art and like focus on the artist and make it like, if you have the talent and the potential, I want to give you the platform, you know. Because yeah, I just feel like a lot of artists, when they get to a certain point or they're in a position where they're like getting signed or getting recognition, they like change who they are, or they're like forced to change who they are. Like I've been meeting some it's crazy, I've been meeting some people who are like pretty connected in the industry or like know people in the industry, and like the amount of control that record labels have over artists is insane. Like
yeah, dude, because they're basically like the bank to them, you know what I mean? Because people don't realize, like, you know, having a record label is not, I mean, you'll get the promotion, you get all their tools that they have, but it's really like they want their money back.
Exactly.
That they give you know,
like it's an investment, you know. Everything in America, everything in the world, it's all money. It's all, you know, all a business. Everybody's just trying to make their money. And that's why I feel like it's less about the art. But like, you know, I was talking to this dude who shot Harry Styles, not shot Harry Styles, but like shot for Harry Styles. Like shot photos of Harry Styles. And I don't know if I should even be saying this, but like, they control like what he wears and like how he presents himself to people, and everything like that. Like he has like a real like the way that he dresses, or like the way that he carries himself and everything, that's all controlled by the label, you know? And like that's wild. Like there was an interview with is it Fabio or Fivio? I always get it wrong. Fabio?
Yeah, I think so.
Fabio Foreign. He was on a radio interview. The record label told him to lie about how old he is so he could appeal to a younger generation. And he in the interview is so funny because he was like, I forgot how old they told me to say that I am, whatever. Because he's actually in his 30s. They told him to say he's like mid-20s or something like that. Like that's insane. Like it's just all. It just all seems fake and not genuine anymore,
that stuff in the industry is stuff I've heard time and time again. I can't name any names right now either, but there's people who I've talked to off camera who've been on the pod who are in the industries, right? And they tell me the wildest stories, dude. And very similar to what you just said, dude. They're talking to me about an artist that they had performed with. And with the performing that artist, like they controlled that artist's like their hair, how they talk, what pictures. You can't even have your phone out around them. Like you can't do nothing behind the scenes. You can't do nothing like during, and it's wild. Yeah. And when I was hearing that, I was like, holy shit. I was like, for real? And they're like, yeah, dude, I can't record anything around them or anything. Like I could talk to them, chill, whatever. But like it's like everything is super important because they need to preserve this image they have of this person.
And it's crazy.
And it's wild. And it's like where does the realness come from then?
That's what I'm saying. And that's like hearing stories like that and everything, that's what got me to a point where I'm like, what artist who like really cares about their music and cares about the culture and everything like that would want to be with a label? You know, like if you're signed to a label or you're in a position where you can get signed, like much respect because you you gotta work hard to get to that point. It's not easy at all. But I think I'm more in the headspace where like I don't feel like I want that. I don't feel like I want to sign to like a major record label, especially if they're gonna have that much control over me, my image, or like my music. Like, because the way I think about it is like, I worked hard to get to the point where you're interested in me. I built my image, my brand, and like curated my sound myself. And now that I'm at this point, you want to change that? You want to change what made people like fuck with me in the first place? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me, you know?
You know what? I don't think it comes from a place of like they want to change you, but they want to market you as to many people as possible and just shotgun your image out. And then if there are little things, it's almost like because it's not that I feel for them, but I get it from a business sense. Because it's like, all right, if your hair is the only thing keeping you from gaining another 50,000 people listening to your music, they just be like, yo, dude, just cut your hair. Don't you want your shit to be successful? Don't you want your music to go out to many people? If you just change this little thing about you, it'll be fine. You know, and then you change your hair and you get 50,000 more people, right? Yeah. But now your reach is now even greater now, right? So now you have the potential to reach out to more people, right? But then they're like, oh, maybe I don't like your dangly earrings. You know what I mean? Oh, come on, just change that. Just why don't you change that for me, Tireek?
See, that's how it starts.
And that's how
like
it starts,
it's one thing,
you know?
and then it just, you know, it
and
just continues on. You know,
and
it gets out of hand.
I feel like being real. And this is what I've always said this about the East Coast and the West Coast, especially after traveling there and stuff. It's just like, I feel like the West Coast, you could build your image off of fakeness so well and people will vibe with it. And it's crazy because there's this whole celebrity like crew in like LA in the West Coast where like there's these celebrities that have millions of followers. And I've never heard about them ever, but they make money and they spend bread on these music videos. And I've never heard of them. Their music is like not for nothing. It's not great. You know what I mean? I'm just like, who the fuck? And I was like, if you came walking here in Jersey, if you came walking here in New York, nobody would know who you are, dude. Like that ego would be sunk through the fucking ground, you know?
And it's funny. I was actually having a conversation with my godfather when I moved back to New York. And I was telling him, like, I want to start doing more shows and everything. Because that's, like, kind of where I'm focused on right now. Just, like, performing and getting in front of people, like, physically. And I was just asking for, like, because I was nervous. Because, like, in New York, like, if they don't like you, they'll let you know.
Yeah, dude.
Straight up, you know? And one of the things he said is just, like, you just got to be authentic. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't go up there, try and, like, you know, appeal to who you see in the crowd or whatever. Just be yourself. Because, like, if you go up there and you're not genuine and you, like, hit people with some fake shit, they'll see right through that.
Yeah,
you know?
and I feel like that's what like is clear to me, a clear difference between West and East. because in East, bro, like I've never, like you won't find people here. If people don't fuck with you, they will make it known, and if not known, they will act that way. It will be obvious. It's not an obvious like, and when people feel you, you know what I mean. It's like over here, it's like that shit like sticks with people. Yeah. You know, like you do something, they're like, oh, I remember you. I'm gonna go to your next show. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And trust me, there's the same amount of people who like, you know, who won't show love and don't show up and stuff. But it's super wild. It's super wild. And even like through doing this podcast and meeting a lot of different people, you know, and just telling them to be real. And even the point of this podcast too, more than anything, and I've said it a lot before, is just like, you can't fake it with me for more than an hour. You can't. 30 minutes in, like I'll get you to wherever you're thinking of, you know. And I have a lot of people and they're like, oh, I'm scared to do this. I'm like, dude, just say it, bro. Like I'm not gonna judge you, bro. This is an open space. Like I don't care what you say. I've fucked up on the podcast multiple times. It happens, you know what I mean? But I own up to my shit, and then people recognize that and they're like, okay, like, you know, he'll be real and shit. And I try to be as real as I can be, but it's so wild how like you could build up this facade real quick. You know, you could build up like people could cancel you so quickly, right? And it's such a popular thing to do, right? But it's just like, you know, if you're real with the people and the people who know you, it has more power, to me at least, you know, because I think social media can affect you, like in like it could affect you business wise, you know,
business wise, but like it only affects you as much as you let it. You know, like I'm starting to worry more only about the things that I can control, and you can control social media in a way, like, well, basically you could control the influence that social media really has in your life. Like if you don't want it to bother you, don't go on it or ignore it. Like it's technology, you know. Dude. And I've been like trying to stay like off my phone more, like stay off of social media. Like I haven't been on Instagram as much. Right? The most I'll be on is like TikTok. I spend hours on TikTok.
Oh, dude, TikTok honestly is great, dude. I love your TikToks too, bro. I've been seeing you post on TikTok, man.
But yeah, all that, it's like social media, like it's taking a toll on my you know, mental.
Dude, what?
Plenty of times, you know.
Dude, I get so depressed. And even when I was talking to you about before about the people, because people DM me, they're like, hey, like I really want to be in your podcast, and I just be like, yo, dude, like I don't know at this point like how I'm gonna get you on because I have all these other people waiting and I need to attend to them and like organizing shit too and doing this shit all by yourself. Like it's tough and it's crazy because like I went to Alaska, right? I was out in Alaska for like almost 8 days. I stayed in another 2 days in Seattle. The whole time I was in Alaska, I didn't have any signal on my phone. I didn't have any signal on my phone because you had to pay for like the Wi-Fi, and I did not have the money to pay for Wi-Fi. It was wild. But I was out there, so I didn't use my phone at all, dude. And it felt so great, so good, just right? Being away, dude, like and just like doing other stuff and not worrying about my phone. And then it got me so much anxiety though, like coming back, because then you see like the whole bunch of red like, messages and shit like that, and you're like, oh fuck, dude.
It's crazy because like it's like I'll go on Instagram, I'll scroll for maybe like 10-15 minutes and I feel worse. you know, like I'll enter the app and I just feel like terrible. And I think for me, like as an artist, I think it's because like I start comparing myself to other people. And I know you shouldn't do that, but it's like, oh, this person, and it's not like, I don't know, it's gonna sound like I'm hating or I'm being a hater. It's not like from a hating standpoint. It's like, oh, this person's doing this person just did this person did this show, their song did this much, this, that, and the other. You just get so caught up in like what everybody else has going on. It's like, damn, I ain't doing shit. I'm not doing enough. You know, you start doubting yourself. You're just like, and I just go down this like, you know, just this rabbit hole of negative thoughts and everything.
Yeah, that's why I think like building the community like face to face is the most important, and keeping the people who are around you who've been there since the beginning is super important. You know what I mean? Like, the people who fuck with the podcast since like the beginning, like are like the people who are still around from that. Like they are like my foundation, bro. Like, they'll check in on me and they'll be like, yo, what's going on here? Like, do you need help here? And I was like, all right, dope. Like this is dope. And then you have other people who come up to me and like, you know, like you could tell they're being fake, bro. Or they just want something from you, and it's hard. It's hard as you grow and get bigger. And really weirdly, right now, I'm having deja vu. I don't know why I'm remembering you doing this right now. Sorry, that completely took me off track there for a second. But yeah, like, you know, like I have other people who just talk to me and they just want something from me, or you could tell, like, you know, they hit me up on my DMs. And I had this one guy actually, like he was wilding out, and I don't understand. Like he I'm not gonna name any names. this person, right, DM'd me and was like, yo, I love your show, blah, blah, blah. And this was back when I had like 50, 100 followers and stuff like that. He's like, yo, I believe in all your shit. And he kept dubbing me, bro. And every time, like, and one time I set up a whole podcast and he didn't even show up. And I was
Not
like,
no like heads up,
no
or
heads
anything?
up or nothing, bro. And I was like, all right, whatever, dude. And then like hits me up like now, like almost 8 months later now. And like he just hit me up recently and I saw his DM and he was like, hey dude, I saw everything, blah blah blah. He was like, I'm ready now, like I'm ready for you. And I was just like, I don't know, dude, like I don't know how to handle this, bro. Like I don't even know you in person, bro. Like and you treating me like shit already. Like I don't even know what to tell you, dude. Yeah, it's weird, dude, this whole thing and trying to grow it organically. And oh man, how do you deal with like your how do you deal with like your anxieties, and like do you ever get depression from like social media too, or
Oh,
anything like
all
that?
the time. All the time. But I think what helps me through it is kind of like you said, just like having that community or just having like that support system around you. Like I have my girlfriend, you know, she's amazing. I have my family, my friends and everything. Just like disconnecting from, you know, all the BS that you see on social media and actually like getting out, living life. Like bro, like our parents, grandparents, they didn't grow up with all this stuff. You know, they were actually like out, living, interacting, exploring new places and things and everything like that. They were rarely ever on their phone. So like I think just getting out, living life and actually being a human being, you know, it helped me a lot, and you know, it still helps me. Yeah. So yeah, social media, you know, it's great for some people and it's great when you like use it for what it's for, like connecting with people online, but like too much of it can definitely be like a very bad thing.
For sure.
So I try and stay away from it now, and just try not to get all caught up in that. And I'm just trying to build like that in-person community. So like I said, just like going to different events, like showing real love to like other artists. Like I've met so many dope people since like coming back to New York.
Can you name some of those people that you've met? Do you have anybody off the top of your head?
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out Samaya and June. They started their own company. Basically, it's called Platform, and they're like building it up and growing it up. And basically, what it is every month they throw like an artist showcase. So like artists submit their music, they select you know, which artists perform, and then they also have like vendors, like local vendors. So it's like people who make like jewelry, paintings, fashion, everything. So it's like a whole art festival, and they do it once every month. And
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, and they're like giving these artists a platform to perform and just like get their music out there. So shout out to them. They're super cool. And like Samaya actually also like makes his own music, so that's super fire.
So where do they hold these events? Just like different venues and stuff?
Yeah, different venues, mainly like in the Brooklyn area. But yeah, if you follow them on Instagram, it's Platform. So I believe it's PLAT and then it's like 444 RM Platform. Yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to I believe it's pronounced Chloe Legend. She's super fire, another artist out of Brooklyn. Shout out Naughty Taylor. He's super dope. Another artist that lives like so many dope artists. I'm trying to think who else. My boy Vondi. He's actually from Arizona. I met him at ASU, but he lives in Brooklyn now. He's like, you know, doing the same thing, just like going to different events, connecting with people, tapping in. So yeah, so many dope artists, and there's like real, genuine love. Like, you know, like you can't expect people to support you if you don't support them.
Facts.
You know? And like you said, people could tell when the love isn't real, when it isn't genuine. So like, yeah, that's been what I'm, you know, that's my type of timing right now. Just like going out, showing love to people, connecting with people, you know, and then when you do that, you won't have to ask for it in
Facts.
return. It'll just naturally, you know, be reciprocated. So yeah, actually going back to what I was saying, Naughty Taylor, the guy, I haven't met him in person, but we connected through a New York Discord.
Word.
And now like we interact on Instagram here and there, but I got a show booked in January. Haven't like talked about it yet, but another show in Brooklyn, this place called Purgatory, and he's on the bill with me as well.
Sick,
so
dude.
yeah. And then another artist, her name is Sad Hippie. She's from Jersey, actually.
Word.
You should check her out. Sad Hippie. Her name is Antonia, like her actual name, but she's super dope R&B artist. She has a good sound. But yeah, so many dope artists, man.
So what besides hip hop is thriving right now in Brooklyn?
That's a good question. Honestly, I feel like Brooklyn and New York in general is so diverse. You have like so many different like artists and styles that like everything flies, you know? So,
Do you have like some venues off the top of your head that like you know like of that like artists can go to? Because like I know most recently I went to this one that's pretty popular. I think it's called Baby's All Right.
Baby's All Right. I reached out to them. Haven't heard back anything.
Yeah, they got a dope venue there too, man.
Baby's
All
All Right is dope. Yeah. But obviously, Heart Bar, Purgatory, the one I'll be performing at. The Nest is really cool. Another low key like underground spot. I'm trying to think what else. That's all I really got off the top of my head. Nah, I don't know too many.
Word.
Yeah,
I thought I was asking.
In the Brooklyn Art Cave. That
Brooklyn
place
Art
is
Cave?
fire too.
Word. But yeah, because it's wild. Because like for me to get to Brooklyn, it takes a little bit, right? I'm sure your trip here was a little bit too, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to make it out there a little bit more often. I actually went there recently to go see my friend Lupe. She performed at this open mic at a bar out there. It was kind of there's a Home Depot in like a Jewish area, like in Brooklyn. I forget what it's called, but I know like I don't know what the place in Brooklyn's called, but it's next to Home Depot. That's what I remember. As I parked by the Home Depot, I was like, this looks like an okay place to park. And I went out there and it was dope. I don't go to Brooklyn that often. I'm mainly usually like lower, mid, and rarely like upper Manhattan, but I'm usually around like the middle lower. I'm by Greenwich Village a lot because I like to go by the comedy stores out there and everything and like catch out there. But that's dope. So tell me a little bit about your next step in your journey now. Like besides like booking and all that stuff too, you did mention some news to me before. I don't know if you want to drop it on the pod. I don't know if it's open like that, but like you talk about getting a place with your. Is that cool to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and just because it came to my head, the Sultan Room, another cool venue.
Sultan Room, okay.
And Otto's Shrunken Head. Yeah, that's two other cool places that have dope shows. But yeah, aside from like doing the shows and the publishing and everything like that, I've been on my entrepreneurial grind. I mentioned this the last time we talked too, just like trying to, because I never liked working for other people.
Dude, I'm the same way.
Yeah, I always wanted to be my own boss and everything. Like I have a day job right now, but eventually I want to get to a point where like I don't need to work at that day job, and I just want to have like multiple streams of income, be my own boss. Like I want to be able to wake up and be like, what do I want to do today? You know?
Dude, that's what I did.
And much respect. Like I'm happy for you for that. Like, bro, like because you think about a person like Jay-Z. This dude is making millions in his sleep. Like he wakes up. He probably like of course he probably has like meetings and everything. People that he has to like delegate tasks to and everything like that. But for the most part, like he's just doing his own thing. I'm pretty sure. Like he doesn't have to answer to anybody. I don't like answering to people.
Yeah.
But yeah. So in 2021, after I graduated from film school, me and my girlfriend, because she went to school for what was it? Digital media. Yeah, digital media. We started our own production company, T&J Productions. And then we built up like a cool little client base in Arizona. Like we did graduation photo shoots. We've done family photo shoots and things like that. But we actually lost a few clients or potential clients because we didn't have our own studio. People like a lot of people, they like going to a photographer's studio, the comfort of being like inside and everything. So now that we're back in New York, we're like, why don't we try and get a studio? Just fuck it. So we found a studio space. We actually get the keys for it today. Excited to like, set it up.
Congrats,
thank you. Bring all the equipment in and just plan to grind with that as well. Same thing. I'm gonna go hard with like marketing, promoting, getting like client base and everything. But like,
do you guys have an Instagram or anything like that together and everything?
Setting all that up. So like we're revamping the website, revamping the social media and everything. So that's gonna come eventually. But honestly, the goal with the studio space is just to make it like a creative hub, like a one-stop shop for anybody who needs it. So like, yeah, we'll do the photography. Like if people want to do like headshots or like you want to do your graduation photos, family photos and everything there. But like if you want to shoot a music video, you could pull up. This space, probably not in this space. Like eventually when we get a bigger space, like it's a decent size, like 1,000 square foot. But like if you want to record music, you could pull up. If you like whatever you want to do, if you want to host like a listening party, release party, if you want to have a show, I want it to be that kind of space, you know. So like right now, the plan is to like obviously do the photo shoots. We could do small events there. We could fit like about like 30, 35 people, things like that, and just like build it up, you know. Because going back to what I was saying earlier, I'm used to creating my own opportunities, but I want to create opportunities for others
For
as
other
well.
people,
Because like,
yeah.
bro, the world doesn't owe you anything. I've learned that the hard way.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
nobody owes you anything. You could beg, you could plead as much as you want, but if somebody doesn't want to do something for you, they're not going to do it. You know, you got to grind and like, you know, go after the things that you want. You know, you got to hustle for it. You know, and I know what it could be like being an artist, like just starting out. Like, you might not have any connections. You might not have like the budget. You might just not have anything. So I just want to create like that space and that platform for people to come. They could create. They could get things done, and just, you know, feel like they have people in their corner supporting them and like helping them to reach their goals. You know, because it's not easy, man.
Oh, dude, nah, and it's crazy because like I remember when I first started out and everything, and it's just like how everything has gone from that then to now, and how like the struggles and plight of an artist who's trying to get out there, it doesn't change. You know what I mean? The same. It's crazy, and as I get older, like I'm starting to feel like, you know, like, you know, I'm fathering these kids, you know. That's what I'm really feeling like, because, you know, I see the thirsty 17, 18-year-olds who are like, you know, they're putting up music on SoundCloud, and like, you know, they look up and they're like, oh my God, like I'm asking you for advice. And I can only imagine, like, and this is not like tooting my own horn, but if I knew, so like if I saw somebody who was doing this, what I'm doing, as I'm saying this in the Team outfit, and I saw them and seeing them talk to all those artists, like, you know, like people ask me, they're like, you know, what should I do? And it's so hard. It's so hard to give them good advice.
And you know what it is? Another reason it's so hard is because there's no rules. There's no guidelines to it. If there was like a clear blueprint, how to get on, how to be a popping artist and everything, everybody would do it. There's really like no set way to go about doing it. You really just gotta like find what works for you, and then just keep at it, stick at it. You know, so for some people are really good at making content and being on social media. That works for them. They build a fan base. Some people are more like better at being face to face and like, you know, building up something. You really just gotta find what works for you. You know?
So you being back in Brooklyn now, like who do you feel like is the most poppin' people? Like who's making the most noise right now over there?
They're like the artists making the most noise.
I guess anybody. Yeah, the artists, the musicians. I don't know if you've met entrepreneurs there. Like who right now is like kind of dictating? I know that's a big word to use for anybody, but like who's like making the most noise right now in Brooklyn? Who have you seen so far?
Who have I seen so far? In all honesty, I wouldn't even be able to answer that question. I don't know. Because out of the people that I met, I don't think it's like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to word this. There's no real like hierarchy, if that makes sense. So there's like nobody that's like, at least from what I've seen so far, that's like clear cut, like, oh, this is like the man, like you want to get something going, like fuck with this person, you know. So I honestly can't answer that question. I'm sure there is somebody like that, but haven't connected with them yet.
Word. All right, so let me ask you this, because I think this is an interesting topic to get into a little bit, because you did mention it a little bit before. Yeezys and Kanye right now. Kanye's wildin', bro. I would do anything to have Kanye on a podcast right now. Actually, I am joking, because if that man was on a podcast, I think we'd throw hands. Not in a bad way. I don't hate him or anything, but like, I don't know if you watch any other podcasts like Lex Friedman, or he was just on the Lex Friedman podcast. He's done like a whole interview publicity run recently, and you know he's talking about all this anti-Semitic stuff, and we don't have to get deep into that, but you know, like it's just weird seeing him have these conversations and be completely blind to stuff, you know, like,
Yo,
what are your thoughts on it?
It's harder and harder to be a Kanye fan. It gets harder every single year. How can I word this? It's just at a certain point, it just gets hard to separate the artist from the art. You know, it's like to a point where it's like I almost feel guilty. You know, kind of like, you know, bumping his music or anything like that, because like, how can you support a guy that like says the thing that he says or feels the way that he feels? My girlfriend is Jewish. You know,
You fuck with Kanye?
Not at
She
all.
said no. She said no, guys.
Not at all. It's like, like you said, it's just wild to watch a guy, be the catalyst in his own downfall.
Yeah, no one else like Adidas just dropped him. I heard something about him getting escorted out of a Skechers store or something. I don't even know. Skechers meeting. I don't fucking know. But yeah, it's really weird, this whole Kanye situation. And the more and more, I only felt like I had to bring it up a little bit here because I was just like, everybody's been bringing it up. And not only that, like some of my favorite creators. I don't know if you know who Casey Neistat is. Do you know who Casey Neistat? Yeah. Dude, Casey just posted up a video about it too. He's like, I didn't want to talk about this. I'm like, Jesus, Casey's about to talk about this now too. And it's just wild to see, like, I don't know. We're coming into where I realize a little bit more existentially, just like celebrities more and more are getting like a little bit more power. I'm not trying to get like more political or whatever, but like their voices and the people they have following them, you know what I mean? Like there's a bunch of Kanye stans. I know some people
people go hard for him on Twitter, bro.
It's wild.
Like people still like diehard support him, say like, oh, I agree with Kanye, this, that, and the other. Or some people like, oh, nah, he's doing this on purpose. He just wants to be free of all ties with other people. I'm just like, I don't know. I think honestly, I feel like the man really just needs help.
I think he needs help too, and it's so weird because sometimes it's so difficult because 90% of the shit he says I don't agree with, but then it's that
there are some things that he says that
there's that little bit. And then on top of it, my bias of loving him and his music, right? Where I hear that one shit, I'm just like, damn, he might have a point. It's like, damn, am I really gonna listen to this whole shit now? And then I listen to it and I regret it because I'm like, this man has no valid points here.
Oh, at all.
Like he's just talking,
especially with
bullshit.
the anti-Semitic comments, like totally out of pocket, and like everything that's happening to him, he really did bring it on himself. But the one thing that he did say that I was agreeing with him on is like when he was talking about like the whole situation with his family and his daughters being on social media and everything like that.
Yeah, that's the only time I was like, okay, like Kanye, like you making a little bit of sense. Like I know you're trying to be a dad. I don't know how that whole like social thing like works with them either. And the Kardashians, like you think
like he was saying, like they had his daughter Northwest. How old is she? Like 8, 9, something like that.
No clue.
She's on social media with like makeup and all on TikTok dancing and everything. And like, bro, if you look at TikTok, it's wild. There's like, I don't know if I could say this. There's so many pedophiles on TikTok.
Oh, dude, there's pedophiles everywhere, bro. That's why I hate social media too. Like
if you look at the comments, it's nasty. So like, I can understand him like wanting to shield his children from that and everything. Cause like, I kind of agree, but like, then he starts going into all this other stuff. I'm just like, all right, you lost me.
It's weird, dude. And he's really starting to like, it's like at what point as musicians, right? Is it morally wrong to listen to his music?
No,
and I don't know.
Look at R. Kelly. I can't bump R. Kelly. Whenever R. Kelly comes on, I just don't feel right listening to it.
It's weird. It's weird because it's like, do we want to be like, was R. Kelly doing the bad shit before Ignition or after Ignition? That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
right? Because Ignition used to be a staple. Like every cookout I remember with my family, that comes on. Everybody's like,
dude, low key, I still hear and see people bumping it, and it's like, and I don't. And the thing is, I don't judge them. Like, and that's the worst thing too. Because like, if I don't even judge them, I'm just like, bro, I get it. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, it's like, do I get it? Like, I don't know. Like,
no, seriously. Like one of my mom's friends that I have on Facebook loves R. Kelly. Die hard. She's like, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like, I still love his music. I love him. Like, that's my man. Da 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 da. I'm just like, it's
right?
like at what point do you have to stop separating the artist from the art that they make?
And it's difficult with Kanye too, because I mean, like, dude, like, we could sit here and talk about every song that he's made and be like, yo, this is the impact it had, and like,
well, he's super influential, probably like the most influential artist of all time. Like, the impact that Kanye had on hip hop is insane. Like, before Kanye dropped his debut album, what was it? Was it College Dropout? Right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was drawing a blank. Before that, hip hop was like, oh, like you had to be hard. You had to like present the image of a street dude. You had to rap about a certain type of thing. Jay-Z and Rock Nation initially didn't sign him because they didn't see him as a rapper. Like, what would you rap about? Like, you're not street. He's like from the suburbs pretty much.
Yeah.
And then he starts releasing his music, rapping about the things he raps about, whatever on those projects, and everything shifts. He 50 Cent. Remember he had that head to head battle with 50 Cent. They were dropping on the same day back in '07. He outsold 50 Cent, who's one of the biggest artists at the time. You know, so like his impact on hip hop and like him like opening more doors for artists to like experiment more and just like have a different sound other than the hardcore grimy hip hop shit. Like never deny that. But is that enough? You know, like
Did you end up seeing the Kanye documentary on Netflix and stuff?
Genius.
Yeah,
I watched.
Yeah, bro. Like I watched it and I was just like, damn. Like, and you see like a whole other side, and you see how consistent he's been with what he says, right? But now, like, I feel like I don't know if it's. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't feel like the same. And I feel like so much things went downhill after he lost his mom. You know what I mean?
Really, like that. I felt the same way. Like after he lost his mom, that's when everything really went downhill for him mentally. You know, and I can understand. You know, like we talked about this before. I'm super close with my mom. She's like, you know, one of my best friends. I don't know what I would do without her. You know, so I can understand that. But like, I just feel like after he lost his mom, he never really had anybody like there for like the man just needs help. He needs some type of like
and it's weird too because even like I could empathize with him too because I mean I lost my mom like during like 2020, right? And I was just like, she was my rock and she's my everything, and living life now after her passing, right, is definitely strange in some senses because like one of the things I struggle with the most right now is like this is a weird saying, like it's not love in general, right? But it's just like, you know, like my sister is not really like the biggest like, oh, like tell me about your day, like and my father is not like that at all either. So, you know,
where do you go?
Yeah,
who do you go to? Like,
right.
I feel you. Like
so
I talk to my mom about any and everything, you know, and she does the same thing to me. Like my mom will literally text me or like call me. It'd be like late in the night. She'd be like, "You up?" we'll just be like talking about different things. Like, and you know, now that I'm back in New York, it's even better now. Like we still talk, like nothing ever changed. But like, you know, so I could, you know, empathize with him in that way as well, like not having that rock really.
And one of the things on the Lex Friedman podcast that he did, it was so strange because Lex, one of the greatest podcasters out right now, and he just is so easily. He goes through conversations and is able to listen and then like, you know, like talk about like, you know, weird responses. Because even some of the things, like I was thinking about like, what if I had a podcast with Kanye, right? And I don't think I'd be able to handle it, dude. Because some of the things like his emotions like go off and Lex is just sitting there like, nah, dude, I think. And one thing Kanye said that really stuck with me. He was like, Lex told him, he's like, I think you need to have, do you have people around you that you trust right now? And then he was like, I don't want to answer that. And then he's like, I think you should have people around you that you trust who can call you on your bullshit. Because everybody needs that in life.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs someone who could call them out on bullshit. I have people like my boy Shane, bro. Like he'll tell me I got my other close friends, Miguel, the guy who's gonna be help co-producing the podcast. Like he's always telling me when I'm on my bullshit. We all have those moments.
Yeah.
And not having anybody there like that, and then watching the documentary and seeing the only person who had a real effect on him and what he did with his career being his mom.
Seeing the bond that they had was crazy. Yeah.
Like
and that goes for anybody. Like being surrounded by yes men and people who tell you what you want to hear all the time is never a good thing, because then you're just going to be on some bullshit like he's on right now, you know? And then another point I wanted to make, going back to something that you mentioned earlier about cancel culture, like looking at a situation like Kanye, like R. Kelly, and like even other examples like a Chris Brown, you know, like cancel culture is bullshit, bro.
Yeah,
like,
it is. I've said this a million times. It's bullshit.
It really is. Like people will cancel you for like a day, maybe a week, but like they'll still go back to like bumping your shit. Like Kanye, like this is not the first time Kanye said some like outrageous shit and like offended people. Kanye's been canceled how many times? Doesn't matter. He still has a diehard fan base. People go hard for him. Same as I said with R. Kelly, people go hard for him, still bump his music. Chris Brown with that whole situation with Rihanna, even though that was like mad long ago, he's still one of the biggest artists in the world.
Yeah,
like
even with Tory Lanez.
Tory Lanez, he still does numbers. Like he might have got like blacklisted by you know, Apple Music, Spotify. Like they don't promote or playlist and shit like before, but he still does millions.
Yeah,
you know, freaking they try to cancel Tyler the Creator all the time for like his old music and everything, but like
They can.
it's just bullshit. Yeah, you can't do it.
So the question is, does Kanye make it out of this and keep the same amount of success that he has after this whole debacle?
Most likely.
Because, like, you know, now Adidas dropped him, but he also has the money and all the stuff to do what he wants, like, by himself. And the thing is, Kanye is not a business leader. He is an artist at heart. So, like, he needed Adidas to do all the background work, the business work, for him to be able to reach the success he was with his shoes, you know? The same thing with Gap, when he was with Gap. And the thing is,
I think it's gonna hurt him. It's gonna hurt him right now, absolutely. But I don't think it's gonna have like a super huge impact. I think he'll be just fine. Like in terms of like support and fan base, like people just like, I don't know, like people just love Kanye. They go hard. Like when I was in ASU, I lived in it's a super tall building. It was called University House, right? It was right across the street from the Desert Financial Arena where they have the football games.
okay.
Kanye came there one time in the Desert Financial Arena. Wasn't a performance, wasn't doing any music. It was like a Sunday service thing. It was like a political thing, actually.
Word.
So it was packed out the whole arena. And he wasn't even performing or doing anything music related. He was just like doing his political, like religious shit.
When he was like probably running for president or whatever.
Yeah, like so like some crazy shit. Like, and it was packed out. When I saw that, I was like, this man is just a force. Like people just love Kanye. They'll go to anything he does. They'll support anything he does, even if it isn't music related. He'll be just fine. Like, look at the Travis Scott situation when he had what was it called? Astrofest or whatever? Astroworld, where like, you know, those people tragically lost their lives at
yeah.
you know, that definitely hurt him, canceled him in the moment.
Fuck, you know, it's crazy. I forgot completely too what you were talking about too.
Forgot about it. Wasn't even thinking about it, right?
I wasn't even thinking about it.
He laid low for a little bit.
And now he's gonna
dropping
be
music
back.
again. I think he has another festival or like performance coming up. He like makes appearances at nightclubs here and there. People go hard for Travis Scott. You know, I'm not gonna name anybody. If this person watches the podcast, they'll probably know I'm talking about them. But somebody I'm really close with was die hard about Travis Scott. They're like, no, like it wasn't his fault. How is he supposed to know? Like this, that, the other. It was just like, yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, like more safety precautions should have been made.
Dude.
Anyway, I don't want to get deep into that, but like, you know, a situation like that where people literally died at this man's show and nobody remembers it. Nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah.
He's perfectly fine.
Yeah, we kind of let shit slide.
Still one of the biggest artists in the world.
It's wild, dude. And that's what gets me wild about, you know, these publicists. Well, not publicists, but like, you know, when you have a group and you have these big artists and they're controlling what they do, you know what I mean? I feel like it's just almost like, you know, control for just until it all falls over or something happens. And you know what? I don't know, but the PRs and everything they have now is just so good at their jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And really, I don't even think, you know, I take that back. I don't even think it's about being good at your job. I think it's just about like controlling the fall and then just waiting it out and then letting it go.
No, literally.
But it'll be really interesting to see how this moves forward with Kanye. It'll be interesting to see how it affects like the different communities that he's fucking up. Now that Adidas dropped him, Gap dropped him, whatever Skechers dropped him, everybody's dropping him and stuff. And to see how much he's able to push forward with all this shit and hate speech that he's spewing, and also turning around people who have been fans forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's really weird for him because if we really talk about any other artist, R. Kelly's easy to drop. You know what I mean? I don't really think about him too much. Tekashi 6ix9ine, do I still bump his music? Yeah. Has he done a little fuck shit here or there? Yeah. But I don't think about him ever during the day. Chris Brown, haven't thought about Chris Brown in forever. I only think about him when he pops up on my feed once or twice. Who else is there that got canceled? Chris Brown, you were talking about. Tory Lanez. Sometimes I look at his stuff, but it's not like I'm crazy about it. You know, it's just like, it's whatever. And yeah.
The baby.
Oh, the baby. Yeah, he got canceled too. Yeah. I don't think about the baby any days, bro.
I think the baby, but no, just to go back to the Kanye situation, like, yeah, no, obviously, like, I don't support anything that he's like doing or saying at all, but like, honestly, I really don't think it's gonna hurt him at
Word.
all.
Yeah.
Like I think it's gonna be trending, hot news right now. People are gonna be outraged to say what they're gonna say, but ultimately, he's still gonna be Kanye West.
How do you think? How do you think this saga in this time period right now, in this timeline of Kanye West ends? What's your prediction?
I don't know. It's hard to say because it could really go like in a bunch of different ways. I don't know. What do you think?
My prediction, dude, I think he's gonna have a super crazy mental breakdown. I think he's gonna end up losing. I think he's gonna end up losing like not his kids, but I think he's gonna end up like losing like a lot. I think so. I think in the trajectory he's going into right now, dude, like the Kardashians, I hate talking about like, about this pop stuff, but they have so much power and he's just making himself look worse and worse and worse.
Bro, the Kardashians like low key control the media.
Yeah, dude.
That shit is wild, bro.
Yeah, and that's what even scares me about getting more and more into the social media game, bro. Like coming back to all this full circle and everything we've talked about, it's just like, dude, like I don't like. Who knows? Maybe I'll get canceled for wearing this Tinky Winky shit, bro. I have no clue, bro. Like it's wild how shit just comes around and they get shit to bite you in the ass. But like I said, I think being real to close out this Kanye segment, I think being real is important. I think talking to people is real, and I think also like you see where his mental's at.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think he is spiraling, and it's only gonna get worse if he doesn't like get the help.
I feel bad too. I feel bad,
but I truly don't think it's gonna hurt him too much in terms of his influence and popularity.
Word.
But going back to what I was saying about the baby situation, I just think that whole situation is interesting because like if you look at it, he's really being like canceled and blacklisted or blackballed because like he said what he said about the gay community that offended them, and that he didn't apologize at all for any of his statements. Now you look, I think his last album that he dropped did like 150 to 200K first week. Ultimately numbers don't matter, whatever it is what it is. But like his new album that he just dropped did like 19.
Yeah, something like that. It did like really bad, yeah.
He had to cancel a show recently because of low ticket sales and everything like that. I'm like, yo, that is really crazy, And then just like I take that all as just like a learning experience, like especially like when you get to a point where you have such a huge platform, so many people look up to you or whatever, and you have like your words hold weight. What you say matters, what you do matters. Like, I'm not saying like you gotta like bite your tongue or like not speak your mind, but like, what are you thinking, bro?
Yeah, like say shit with purpose. You know what
exactly.
I mean? Say shit with purpose. I always tell people, I'm like, don't say shit emotionally, dude. Exactly. Like I've been in situations before where I'm tight, and actually, it's one of my rules for social media. Actually, like whenever I feel something, unless I'm so completely like positive about what I'm saying, like and it comes just directly from the heart, like I might post something up. But even like in the height of the whole like BLM protests and everything during 2020, dude, I almost canceled the fuck out of myself on accident. But it came from a good place. I came from a good place. You could actually still see it on my Beto Music page when I posted up. I like writing a lot. And I just had all these emotions, so I was writing out these paragraphs and stuff of like what I felt and like what I felt about the riots and what I felt about everything that was going on, and I just really wanted like to say something, and so I was writing out this paragraph, and it took me about like 2-3 days to write it out, right? And I wasn't sure. And this is the problem with social media too. Like the terminologies could mean so many different things, bro. Yeah. And like I was just like, and in my head, when I heard "all lives matter," I was like, that makes sense. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, but all lives matter too. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, that's probably the right thing to put at the end of this at the end of this paragraph, bro. So I wrote all these things, bro, and I had taken a quote from Martin Luther King that I won't like. I was just about to say I won't forget. I just forgot it, but it was basically like in this quote that Martin Luther King wrote, it was just like rioting is the actions of people who feel like their voices are unheard. Right. And I really love that quote because during the rioting, I didn't agree with the rioting because like a lot of people who suffer from the rioting were people who lived in like local businesses and everything. And I didn't agree with that. So I put that quote up there, and then I wrote this whole thing about how I felt about everything, and at the end of the paragraphs, I was like, all lives matter, thank you, love, like Beto and stuff like that, right? And then I had one of my boys proofread this before I put it up, and he's like, you know what all lives matter mean, bro? And I was like, nah. And then I got schooled, and I was like, oh shit, I was about to put some shit up, bro. I was like, no, I was like, I'm in Black Lives Matter and everything, but it's wild, you know. You always got to be careful, and if I had posted up that emotionally at first and didn't like proofread my shit, you know what I mean, then I could be promoting something I don't mean. But that's the hard thing with all this, man.
It really, yeah,
and that's how
man.
people fuck up, you know what I mean. And that's why I don't do Twitter. I don't know if you do Twitter. You said you do Twitter.
I do Twitter, but like when it comes to social media, I kind of have a rule for myself. Like, I don't talk about like my political views or like, you know, those type of things publicly on social media. Like, I have discussions with my friends or like my family, like my inner circles, but I don't bring any of that to social media. One, for like reasons like that, like things that you could say can be taken out of context. The next thing you know, you're in this whole like world of mess or whatever. But like it just gets messy. It could become a headache. So I try to stay away from it.
And it's a back and forth too, because a part of me, bro, even though I don't want to talk about it, and on the podcast I usually really steer away from it unless my guest is pushing me.
During the riots and like the Black Lives Matter protests and everything, like I felt obligated to say something to like or to do something. Like, you know, we that's in the middle of all that. Well, mostly, in the middle of all that, like we released Crooklyn, we had a fundraiser, like the merch, we donated it to the cause and everything like that. So like felt like I was obligated to do that just because, you know, it's something directly affecting like my community and everything, my people. But most of the times I try and stay away from like, you know, voicing any opinions on like matters like that publicly, because it's just it can feel
like a headache. Yeah,
it leads to this question that I actually have, because I think it's an interesting topic and it's one that I've talked about with a few of my friends. Do you think celebrities or like people in positions of power like that, or that have that much influence, are obligated to like speak out in certain situations like that? Because like, reason I ask, because you look at an artist like Travis Scott, one of the biggest artists in the world, has crazy fans, they go crazy for him. He didn't say anything during, you know, the protests or anything like that. He didn't do anything, not to, you know, the public's knowledge or anything like that. Kind of laid low, and then once everything died down, he was doing his own thing again. Or you go even further back, Michael Jordan, one of the biggest athletes ever, one of the most popular figures. Everybody knows who Michael Jordan is. I forgot exactly what he said, but he basically said something along the lines of, I get paid to play basketball. I'm not a politician. Like, you know, that's not my job. I'm not obligated to do that. I just play basketball. So do you think celebrities or people in positions of power are obligated to like speak up or do something, or, you know, just, yeah, that's my question.
This is actually funny, because I was just thinking about this when we were talking before. I think immediately the first thing that comes to my mind is that I'm young and I don't give a fuck about anything. You know, I just want to live my life in the United States and like, you know, like do my thing and grow my business. But I see that a part of me wants to believe too that as you get older, it feels like more and more of a responsibility to take care of what we have to do in politics, what we have to do locally in politics. Like even when I'm voting in my town, dude, like I don't even like voting unless I know like who I'm voting for, if I stand with them. And it's weird because like even this platform, you know, like the three biggest things I like to promote is peace, love, and unity. That's all I want to promote, you know, and it's one of the staples into what I'm bringing into like, you know, my business and everything. And it's like I can't hold anybody, you can't hold anybody accountable, because it's also a free country, and you're free to be as less politically as you want, as ignorant as you want to certain things. You're allowed the free speech and everything. But like I said, as I feel every year I get older, I feel more and more obligated. I feel like more and more it's one of my responsibilities to have to speak out. And it's hard, because then how do you separate the art from the politics. It's not even that just the art and the artist. You know what I mean? It's like holy shit. And it's like, you know, with Kanye, he's like has such a big platform. Do I think it's his responsibility to spew out all this political shit that he's been saying, regardless if it's fucked up or not? No, I don't think it is. Is it his right to? Technically, right? And it's weird because I think we're coming into a weird era of like art and like society where it's like these artists have become like, you know, like leaders. They have become people who have the most influence over these younger generations, which these younger generations now are more tapped in socially and on the internet than ever. Like this didn't affect our parents. Like our parents were like the only person who really had this type of energy and who could do something was like Michael Jackson. And you didn't see Michael Jackson doing crazy political shit. He would do stuff at fundraisers and all the stuff, and obviously he has his canceling things too with him, but like if he really wanted to, like he had the whole world on his back. Like he went to any country in it, like anywhere you go, and there would be like a full crowd, full force people like there for him. He, if we really want to be honest, he probably had a lot more power than he could ever expose. And now I feel like the artists now, the people who are out now, are like they are taking their political power, they're taking the power for what it's worth. You know, Kanye is definitely taking it for what it's worth. Because if Kanye was not Kanye, and that's so weird to fucking say, like half of the shit wouldn't even matter. You know what I mean? If you talk about any small, or you think if Dua Lipa was saying the same shit, she would get away with it? You know what I mean? No. Dua Lipa would be done. You know? Any most other artists would be done. Oh, absolutely. So it's weird, dude. And it's like in every superhero movie, with great power comes great responsibility, right? But do we really hold them up to that? Do in the future of this podcast, in the future of my business, when things grow and I have a base and I have all this stuff, when I stay silent, will my followers be angry?
Yeah, you know? See, that's weird because that's where I'm conflicted, because I think the same way. Like, if I get to a point where I have that big platform, if I, you know, have the same mindset where like I'd rather just not talk about this stuff publicly, will that do more harm than good? Because, you know, in some cases, silence speaks volumes. You know, so I don't know. It's a weird situation. You look at an artist like Kendrick Lamar, you know, just based off of like the music that he makes and like the themes and topics in his albums, people have put him in this position as like this savior figure, the leader of, you know, whatever, you know. They just put him in like this icon, idol figure. And then you listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and basically in that album, he's like, he was talking about like therapy and like dealing with his own stuff, his mental health and everything. And at the end of the album, he's basically like, I'm not your savior. I'm not this person that you guys make me out to be. Like, I'm not this like lead or whatever. Like, he kind of basically says like, you guys got to have each other. Like, I'm still with you, but like, I think it's more so like you said, it's not their responsibility. You know, they don't have to. You know, they have the right to if they want to, but like ultimately, I feel like we as a community and as a people have to all hold each other accountable. And like if we see injustice or we see like things going wrong, like we just have to, you know, unite and just work together.
And I think that's a good point, because I think together we forget how much power we have.
Exactly.
Together. You know what I mean? Because honestly, if we all collectively said fuck Kanye, then he doesn't have anything. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then he just becomes another weird political person on TV who, like, you know, you don't even know. Like, how many people can you actually name anchor hosts, co-hosts on CNN, Fox News, whatever the fuck? I can't name one. The only person I can name is Tucker Carlson, and that's because I know he does a lot of fuck shit. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like they just become these weird political people. But it's weird too, because then, in an ideal world, weirdly enough, I feel like you wouldn't have any artists like really hop into politics unless it was really just to promote something like really good. And that could be so subjective. That could be so subjective. That could go in a million different places. You know, that could go into, you know, back in the 60s when we were in Vietnam, and a lot of artists were making songs against the war. Like, I could get that. I could get on board with that. You know, if like, I don't think it works in art. I don't think any artist today would make war songs against Russia. But you know, like, I don't know. It's such a weird space. But I don't think it's right to hold them accountable. It's not right to hold any artist accountable to be politically out there and use their power for that, because at the end of the day, it's really for their own agenda, and it's not for people in general. Rather, in their art is for people in general and for whoever enjoys it. You know what I mean? It's not choosing a side, which unfortunately with politics it gets into that, you know. And I don't know. I really just feel like, I think artists should stay away from it, you know. And it's weird because it gets into everything too. It gets into sports, you know what I mean?
No,
when Kaepernick was kneeling, you know, it's like, you know,
the whole situation with LeBron, the shut up and dribble thing.
You know, it's like, you know, and especially it's hard too, because when you agree with them, you know, it's like, let them do their thing. But if you disagree with them, you know what I mean? Just like how we're disagreeing with Kanye and everything he's saying, because he's actually spewing hate speech, you know what I mean? Like Kaepernick's not spewing hate speech, you know, when he's fucking kneeling, you know, he might be viewed as disrespectful or whatever to the flag or whatever, but like, I don't know, dude. It's such a hard thing, you know. I think at the end of the day, I lean more towards like, just try to stay out of it and do whatever you can behind the scenes, you know, and support your local people, you know, your local politicians or whatever the fuck that means, you know.
I think you made a really good point too. Like when situations arise, like we shouldn't automatically look to celebrities like, oh, what are they saying? What are they doing? Like we do often forget the power that we have.
Yes.
You know, like if we all come together, like all united, you know, make an effort to do something, like we could change shit around literally. So like, I think we should stop looking to others and just start looking within ourselves and just like, you know, using the power that we have. I thought that was a really good point.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Well, Tireek, we're coming pretty close to the end of the podcast, but I didn't want to open up the floor for you. If you had anything you wanted to say, anything that we didn't hit, you're more than open to take the floor now, if you want. If not, let the people know where they could find you, dude.
So like I said, November 11th, Heart Bar. It's in Brooklyn. Show starts at 8. It's gonna be super dope.
I will be there.
He will be there. It's going to be fun. December 2nd, dropping new music. Baby Boy featuring a good friend of mine, Zaire. That's going to be crazy. And then, just look forward to more music, more shows. You can find me anywhere on social media, Tireek Online. And then you can find me on all streaming platforms, Tireek. That's Tireek.
Real quick, sorry. I know you just outroed and shit. You're Tireek Online, right?
Yeah.
Why'd you switch from offline? You gotta tell me this real quick before we leave, bro. You gotta tell me this.
Well, the reason I switched from offline to online on Instagram is because my Tireek offline account got hacked. Oh. So I made a new Instagram. I was like, all right, what am I going to be now? I was like, might as well be Tireek Online. I'm going to be online now. And then the rest of my social media, like my Twitter and everything like that, was still Tireek Offline. So I was like, all right, now I got to switch this. I can't be Tireek Online on Instagram and then Tireek Offline
on Twitter.
Everywhere else. So I switched it. That's the main reason. Yeah.
No, that's great, bro. I just literally, as you said that, I remembered. I was like, he was offline before. Now he's online.
You know what's so funny too? When I was Tireek Offline, I thought it was a cool ass name. I was super active, but now that I'm Tireek Online, I'm less active.
That's how it goes,
it's
bro.
so funny, but yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know the business. Ayoo Chill Podcast on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you find your podcast, wherever you find your videos, you can find us there. Please support the podcast. Show some love to my boy Tireek. So nice having him on again. I can't wait till you come on one more time, or not one more time, the next time, whenever next time you come on this, bro.
Yes, sir.
And guys, let's just get the fuck out of here. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Yes.
Let's get out of here, bro. Dope, dude.
That was fun.
Yeah, dude. Oh, man. I've never done a podcast in a costume before, bro.
Yeah, let me put the costume on. I'm actually here, dude. Yeah, this is what it was, bro. Yo, my phone was buzzing.